Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Wish Infinite. In this video of Playwright with TypeScript series, I am going to talk about put call for API testing. Let's start. A put call in an API is a type of HTTP request used to update an existing resource or create a new resource if it does not already exist. A put request replaces the entire resource at the targeted location. It's not for the partial updates. If you only need to update a specific part of the resource, consider using the patch request instead. When you make a put call, you send data along with the request in the request body. This data is usually formatted in the structured way, such as JSON, which is JavaScript object notation, or XML, which is extensible markup language. And here are the following components which we would be using to perform the put call. So we need to use the base URL with the resource. We need to pass the header if it is required. And also we would be sending the request body or the request payload. About all these components, I have already talked related to the introduction of API video. And we have already seen that how to perform the get call and the post call. And what are all the different ways to pass the base URL and header. If you have not watched these videos, I would highly recommend you to watch these videos. I will provide the link of these videos into the description, or you can click onto this I button at top right corner to access these videos. Now let's start with the practical part. For this video, I am going to use the site which is restful-booker.herokuapp.com, where if you will click onto this update booking, so you would be able to see this put call where we need to send this base URL with the resource which is booking, and then we need to pass the path parameter which is booking ID here. And here we have this curl command, and if you will read this curl command, you would be able to see that after curl we have this -x put, which means it is for the put call. Then you would be able to see the base URL with the resource and the path parameter. And after -h, we have all the header details here. And after D, we have the data which we would be passing, which is this object. Here, if you will scroll down, you would be able to see all the details which we need to use to perform the put call. So here we have all the header information where we have already used this content type and accept into previous videos to perform the get and the post call. And here we also need to pass this authorization. Otherwise, we will get the error once we will perform the put call. And this is basic authorization header to access the put endpoint. Can be used as the alternative to the cookie header. Either we can use this cookie or the authorization, and it would be the key into the header, which is authorization. And here we are having its value. So you can directly use this authorization and this value. After this, we have this URL parameter or the path parameter, you can say, which is ID. And then we have this request body, which we have seen into the curl command also. And as the response, we would be getting this 200 as the status code with this particular body, where we would be able to see all the fields which we passed as the request body. Now let's see how we can perform this put call into the postman tool. So for this, I will directly use this curl command to get all the details related to the put call. And here, if you will go to this postman tool, you can click onto this import where you can directly paste this curl command and it will fetch all the details. So here you can see that the method which it has already selected is the put. Then we have this base URL with the resource and then the path parameter. Here, if you will come to this header section, you would be able to see all the headers details. For now, we would be using the authorization here. This cookies is not working, I have checked. So here we need to give this authorization as the key. So under the headers, you can put this key value as the authorization. I'm removing that cookies part, and then we need to paste its value. So here we need to copy this authorization value, which is starting with the basic, and you can paste it under this value column. So now we have three headers. One is the content type, second one is the accept, and third one is the authorization. And then if you will come to the body, so the complete body has also got fetched through this curl command. So here we have body into the JSON format, and automatically this raw JSON got selected. But now before performing this put call, I want to show you what is there with this particular ID. So to get this booking ID details, you can click onto this get booking, and here you can directly use this curl command. So it is the get call. Through this, we would be able to fetch the details related to this booking ID, which is booking ID 1, right? So here again, you can click onto the import. You can paste this curl command. So it will just take this method as the get, and then we have this base URL with the resource and the path parameter. There is no header and all those things which are required. Only these details are required, and then you can click onto the send. And here you would be able to see that what is the current value for this particular booking ID, which is booking ID 1. So we have Susan as the first name, last name as the Wilson. The total price is 922, and all these details are there, right? Now we are going to use the put call to update these values. So here, let me come to this put call. And here, if you want, you can change these values. So let's put first name as Wish, last name is Infinite, and let's put total price as 999. I've changed these values. Now, once I click onto the send, this put call will get performed and it will update all these values. So let's click onto the send. So for now, here we are able to see the old values which are there with this booking ID 1. Once I perform this put call, I should be able to see the new details with the same booking ID. So let's first perform the put call, and then we will perform the get call to see that all these details got updated or not. So now let's click onto the send. Now we have got the status code as 200 OK. And here we are also able to see the response body, where we are able to see the new details which we sent with the request body. Now let's perform this get call to check all these values got updated or not. So now again I'm going to perform this get call for the same booking ID 1. So once I click onto the send, I should be able to see the updated details. So see, the first name is Wish, last name is Infinite, and the total price is 999, and all these details we are able to see. And here with this put call, if you want to perform any validation, so under the script, you can perform those validations. Directly by these snippets also, we can perform some basic checks. Now, as we have seen that how to perform this put call through the postman tool, now we would perform the same put call through the Playwright. So here let me open the VS Code. Here I have already created one test script file inside this tests folder, which is API testing put call.spec.ts, and here I have imported the test from the Playwright test module and created this test block with the title, which is API testing put calls 1. And then I've passed the second argument as the anonymous function, and inside this anonymous function, as we previously also checked, to perform the API calls, we need to use this request fixture. So inside the curly braces, put this request, and then by using this request fixture, we can perform different HTTP methods as we saw about the get and post call. So similarly, we would also be using this request fixture. So request dot, and this time we are going to perform the put call. So here we need to use this put method. And then here we need to pass the first argument, which would be the endpoint. So endpoint includes of the base URL and the resource, and also the path parameter. And into the previous videos, as we have seen that there are different ways to pass the base URL, like we can directly pass the base URL within the HTTP method, or we can use this request.context to perform the base URL at the test level or at the test script level. And we have also seen that we can also pass the base URL and header at the global level into this playwright.config.ts file. So inside this playwright.config.ts file, under this defined config, we have this use key and its value is the object, where we can pass the key and value pair for the base URL and its value. And similarly, we have also passed the header. So for that, we have used this extra HTTP headers as the key, and its value would be the different headers with the key and value pair. So here we have already passed this accept and the content type. We also need to pass the authorization, that also we would be passing. Either you can directly pass it here after putting the comma, or if this authorization is only for the single HTTP call, so you can also pass it directly with the HTTP method. In this case, it would be the put method. So here into the script, as we have already passed this base URL at the global level, so we need not to pass it here. Inside the put method, we can directly pass the resource with a path parameter. So after this base URL, we have this resource, which is booking, and then the path parameter, which is 1. So /booking /path parameter, which is 1. So under the quotes, paste that value. And after the comma, as I told, we can pass the header here also, if it is just applicable for this HTTP call only. You can directly use it here also, as I told. But for now, I'm putting this header with this put method only. So after putting the comma, you need to pass one object. So I've placed these curly braces, and here we need to pass the key and value pair. So to pass the header, we need to use the key as the headers, then colon, and then we need to pass the different headers here. So for that, again, we would be passing an object. So I'm putting these curly braces, and between the curly braces, we need to pass the key and value pair for the field and its value. So in our case, this field is authorization. So this authorization is the key, and then colon, and then we can paste this authorization value within the double quotes, put that value. You can press this Control Shift F to format the code. So it's up to you, right? For now, I have passed the headers here directly. And if you want to pass it at the global level, that also you can do, like we have passed these two headers. So like this, you can pass. Let me quickly show that to you. So after putting the comma here inside the extra HTTP headers object, you need to paste that authorization and its value. For now, let me comment it out. Okay, as we have passed it with the method only. So now we have passed the base URL with the resource and the path parameter, and also I've added all the headers which we need to pass. Now we need to send the request body also. So for that, I can directly copy the same body which we have passed through the postman, and here to pass the body, as we have seen with the post call also, we need to use key and value pair, where the key would be the data and its value would be the complete body which we need to pass. So for that, after this key value pair, for the headers, you can put the comma, and then we need to again provide the key and value pair. So the key would be the data, colon, and its value is going to be the complete body into the JSON format. So here we have copied that body. We can directly paste it like this. If you want to make any changes, that also you can do. Here, let's put the pancakes. Any change you can do, right? This is just the example. So here we have given the first name as the wish, last name as the infinite, total price as $9.99. And here I've also changed this additional needs to the pancakes. So now this is the complete put call. And now we can save its response into one variable. So to save the response, we need to use this const, and then the variable name where we want to save the response. It can be any name. Here I'm just putting the name as ISP put. Okay, any name you can use, equals to, and then we need to use this await keyword also here, because this put method returns us the promise. If you will mouse over on it, you would be able to see this method is returning us the promise. Okay, so that's why this await keyword here. Now once we execute the script, we would be able to get the response into this variable, which is RESP put. So now let's print the response, which we will get into the JSON format. So to print the response, what we can do, first we can convert this response into the JSON format. So here let me use this same variable. So ISP put dot, we need to use the JSON method to convert it into the JSON format. And as this JSON method returns us the promise, so for that we would use this await keyword here, and then we can save its response into one variable. So JSON RESP equals to. Now let's console log this response. So console.log, and then I can put this JSON response inside this console log. So here once I execute the script, this put call is going to get performed onto the booking ID 1, and its value should get updated. So into the response, we should be able to see this response body and not the old values. So now let's execute the script. So for that, clicking onto this run button. So see, we have got the passed result with the response where we are able to see the updated details. Now, as we have seen with the post call also, that we can perform different type of assertions to validate the response which we have got. So now let me again use all these assertions here with the put call also. So as we have already learned about it, we can quickly create all these assertions. So to provide the assertions, we need to use this expect method, and we need to import this expect from the Playwright test module. After the comma, you can put this expect here, and then with this expect, first assertion which we can provide is to check the status code. So here we need to use this resp put the response which we have received dot status method we need to use. And this status method will give us the status code. And here after the expect, we can use this to be, and then we can pass the status code. So the status code is going to be 200. As here also into the document, you can see the same, that we are going to get the status code as the 200. Apart from this, we can also validate the status text. So for that, again, we need to use this expect, and then the response put, okay, the response which we have received from this put call. Okay, this is the variable name. So same name you need to put here. Dot status text is the method to get the status text. And it should be, so for that, we need to use this to be. And here we need to pass the status text. So within the quotes, I can use this OK. So this is the status text which we are going to receive. Here into the postman also you can see this OK we are going to receive. After this, we can also use one assertion, which is expect. And here we need to pass this response put dot. So this is just the variable name of the response. And after the dot, we need to use this OK method. So wherever we are going to get the status text as OK, in that case, it would be applicable. And then after the expect, we need to pass this to be truthy. So if the status would be the OK, in that case, we will get the true and this assertion will get passed. After this, we can also validate the complete response body. And for that, again, we need to use this expect. And within the expect, we need to pass the response into the JSON format. So here we have already converted the response from the put call into the JSON format by using this JSON method. So directly I can use this variable. And here we need to use this toMatchObject method. So this is the method. And inside this method, we need to pass the object which we want to match with this response JSON object. So here let's copy it again. And here we can pass the complete object, which is the expected one. So this expected JSON object will get compared against the response which we receive from this put call. Okay. So this response is resp put, and then we have converted that response into the JSON format. And then we are comparing that whatever the response which we get inside this JSON response should match with this JSON object. So here we are validating the complete body should match with the response. We can also validate the specific field also. Let's say we want to validate this additional needs, that we should receive additional needs as the pancake here. Okay, that's what we have given with this put call also. It should be pancakes, and into the response also we should receive it like this only. So for that, what we can do, we can again use this expect method. And inside the expect method, again, we need to use this JSON response, which we have got by converting this response into the JSON format. And after the dot, we need to put the specific key value, right? So this is complete JSON response. Okay, this one. And from here, we are going to validate this additional needs. So again, after the dot, we need to give the key value, which is additional needs. And after the expect, we can use this toEqual method. And inside this toEqual method, we can pass the value which we want to match against this additional needs value from the JSON response. So the value should be pancakes. So let's put this value here with this toEqual. So within the quotes, I've passed this pancakes. So any changes if happens into the response, we should be able to see the fail assertion here. About the assertions, we have already talked into the previous videos also when we performed the post and get call. So the same thing which we discussed, we are using it here directly. Now let me execute the script and we should be able to see the passed result. So all these assertions you can provide all together or one by one as per your requirement or your checks you can provide, right? For now, let me execute the script and I should be able to see passed result where all these assertions should get passed. So see, we have got this one passed. And into the postman, we performed one get call after performing this put call to check that for this booking ID 1, we are getting the new response or not. So now let's quickly perform this get call for the same booking ID through the script also. So to perform the get call, again, we need to use this request fixture dot. And here, as we have already seen, to perform the get call, we need to use this get method. And with the get method, as we have seen, we need to pass this base URL with the resource. and the path parameter, which is booking ID. So within the quotes, you can pass the same value and it will return us the promise. So again, let's use this await keyword here, as this get method is returning us the promise here. And then we can save this response into one variable, const resp get, any name you can put. And now let's print this response quickly. So console.log. Every time you need not to put this console log, just to explain you that what exactly we are able to see into the response. I am putting this console log, and then you can use this resp get, and then we need to convert this response into the JSON format. So JSON method you need to use, and with this JSON we need to use the await keyword as it returns us the promise. So now we would be able to print this get response into the console. If you want, you can also perform one validation. So let's quickly perform one validation. So expect, and within the expect, we can pass this complete JSON response. So let's copy and paste it here. You can also save it inside one variable and then can use that variable. And dot to match object. And here with this to match object, we can pass the expected body. So this is our expected body. And this assertion should get passed. So now what will happen on performing the put call for this booking ID 1, this value should get updated. And then we are using get call to fetch the value related to this booking ID 1, and we should be able to see the same response with all these updated details. So here we have updated all these values, where the first name is Wish, last name is Infinite, total price is $9.99, deposit paid is true, here are the booking dates, and then we have also added the additional needs. So the same response I should be able to see with this get call. Now let's execute the script. We should be able to see one passed, and we will be seeing this response 2 times. First response we are printing, which we are getting from the put call, and the second response we are printing, which we are getting from the get call. Now let's quickly execute the script. And see, we have got this response printed into the console log 2 times. One we have got from the put response, and the second one we have got from the get response. And we have the passed result. So all the assertions also got passed. Here let me add the comment for your future reference. Get called just to check the updated details. Now accordingly, for your projects also, you can perform this put call and can validate the response through all these assertions. And then you can also use the get call to revalidate the same value got updated or not. We can also use this put call to update the values, and then we can perform the UI testing that the same values got updated onto the UI or not. So if in your project, if it is applicable where you are updating some value through the put call, and then you are performing the UI testing to check all these values got updated or not, so that you can do. Here let me change the title. By mistake I've written this API testing post call 1. It should be put call. Any title name you can give. Okay, it should be relatable. So as we have learned about the put calls, so that's why I have updated the title also. And that's it for this particular video. Let me give you the quick recap. So here we saw that put call in an API is a type of HTTP request used to update an existing resource or create a new resource if it does not exist. Here are all the components, which are base URL, resource, body, and header if it is required, which we need to pass to perform the put call. We also saw that how we can perform this put call into the postman tool. So here into the postman tool, you need to select the specific HTTP method. So in our case, it should be put. Then we need to pass the base URL with the resource and the path parameter, which is the booking ID here. And then we can pass the different headers which are required or which are mentioned into the document. And then we can pass the body with all the details which we want to update. And once you click send, you should be able to see the status code. Here we are able to see the status code as 200. Okay. And then we have got the response also, where we are able to see the same body which we have passed. So this is the response body with all the updated details. And same thing we performed into the Playwright. So into the Playwright, we need to use this request fixture. And by using this request fixture, we need to use the put method, where we need to pass the complete endpoint, as we have passed the base URL and the header at the global level here. So that's why we have directly passed the resource rather than passing the base URL. And then here we have used this path parameter, which is booking ID 1. Here we have added one more header, which was only applicable for this put call. So that's why I have directly added it here. If you want to add it at the global level, that also you can do like this. And with the put call, we also need to pass the body. So in the object of this second argument, we need to pass the key as the data, and its value would be the complete request body which we want to pass. And then we can save the response into one variable. Don't forget to use this await, as this put is going to return as the promise. And then we can also get the response into the JSON format by using this JSON method. We can also perform different assertions to check the status code, to check the status text. We can also use this .ok method, which should be returning as the true if we get the status code as okay. We can also match the complete JSON response by using this toMatch object method, and with this method we can pass the complete object which is expected, and it will get compared against the response which we get from this put call. We can also match the specific item of the response body, and for that we can use this JSON response which we have received from the put call dot the specific item which we want to check. Okay, so here we have checked this additional needs, and it should be equals to the expected value we can pass here. Here we have also checked that whatever the ID which we have updated, so here we have updated this booking ID 1. So we've performed the get call to get all the details, that it is showing the correct details or not which we have updated. So that also you can do for your project. And that's it from my end. You can click onto this first card to go to the next video. You can click onto the second card to access the whole Playwright tutorial playlist. And stay tuned for my upcoming videos. If you have any comments, questions or doubts, you can let me know into the comment section below. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. Have a great day.